What's up, my people? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. Guys, we are coming back to back. A lot of players that have been linked with Manchester United. And as usual, we look at the ones that are most credible, look at the ones that look like it's going to happen, and then we analyze it. And today, we are here to analyze the links between Karim Adeyemi to Manchester United. So, guys, a lot of things to talk about in terms of this player. This is a player that we've watched for, quite a while. We followed his career for quite a while, but I think it's time to analyze him with respect to Manchester United. What are his qualities? What does he bring to this team? What positions will he fit, or what position will he fit in this our current 3-4-2-1 system? So, guys, a lot of talking points. Let's jump right into it. I think first and foremost, analyzing Karim Adeyemi is one of the most easiest and one of the most difficult things to do. And I think among the players that I've analyzed for you guys on this podcast, I think Karim Adeyemi is one of the most easiest to analyze, at the same time one of the most difficult to analyze. And I'm going to go into depth of why this is. First and foremost, I want to describe this guy by saying this guy is a definition of what we call a utility player. I have had some reports saying Karim will play left wing back. Some will say he's play right wing back. I think this guy can play 5 positions for this Manchester United side. 5 positions. I think first and foremost, he can play the right inside forward. He can play the left inside forward. He can play in some variations as even a false 9 or the striker position false 9. He can also play the left wing back, the right wing back for Manchester United. So guys, let's jump right into these positions and why. What exactly does he have that makes him be able to play these positions? First and foremost, let's talk about his game. I think one of the stacking things that come to your mind when you watch Karim Adeyemi, when you analyze him, is the fact that this guy is a player, and it's a shocking thing to me because in my own understanding of football, I always see players that are most players that are good in maybe wide areas. They are very good in wide areas, but they are not necessarily as good in pocket spaces, in inside spaces, right? Sometimes you see players that are very good in inside spaces, but they are not that very good at wide areas. You keep seeing that. So there's always a battle between how good are they wide areas and inside spaces, right? For example, Alejandro Garnacho is one of those players where you look at it and say, Garnacho is good wide areas, but it's not that good in inside spaces, right? You look at Jadon Sancho. You say, Sancho can do one or two things in the wide area, but his major strength is inside space. You look at Marcus Rashford. Rashford is someone that, excels at the wide areas and can also do little business in inside spaces. But Karim Adeyemi is a player where you analyze him, you just see that the same strength he has in the wide areas is the same strength he has in the inside spaces. And for me, it's crazy. I think it's very, very crazy. I watched him, and not just in the attacking phase of the game, but also in the mid third part of the game, in terms of the center line, because we'll analyze further as we go forward. But in the mid part of the game, the fact is that when he drops deep, it drops a little bit down to help maybe the midfield or to track back in terms of the right back or the left back of the opponent. He still has the ability to operate wide areas and also inside spaces. And I'm like, this is amazing. This really is amazing. And for me, it's a very, very good part of the game. I know against João Gomez, I said master of tight spaces. Let me also say today that this guy is the master of wide and inside spaces. He plays it very well. For him, it's comfortable. Playing wide, taking it wide, moving into inside space, for him is comfortable. And I think this I'm able to see. There are not many players in world football that really have that quality to do job in the wide areas and at the same power, have the same strength to also do job in the inside spaces of their game. So that's one major point of him. And I feel when you look at that, take that information, you now come to relate it to Manchester United setup in terms of, first and foremost, let's analyze how he fits in well into our inside forward situation. Guy fits in well. For example, the left inside forward position where Mbeumo plays, where Ahmad can play, Karim can play there. It's clear. He can play there. The speed is there. The skill is there. The fact of, sometimes when you look at Mbeumo's game, Mbeumo, yes, is a player that mostly likes to play it wide. It's not that Mbeumo is not good inside, but mostly his game, he likes to play it wide. Yeah, we're beginning to see part of Mbeumo's game in Man United where it's beginning to, even in Brentford, we saw that. But his preference, if you ask Mbeumo, what's your preference, inside or wide, Mbeumo will tell you, man, I like it wide. I like to stretch the play. I like to have that maximum width. But Karim Adeyemi is someone that can do it wide, can do it inside. So, and when you do it wide and do it inside, what happens is the fact that when you decide to go inside, you give a lot of spaces for your wing back to dance and to enjoy themselves there. When you also decide to do it wide, you also give a lot of what they call it, room for your wing back to also do it in the space. So, and the fact is that as a defender marking him, I can't predict what he's going to do. There are some players that I know they will take it wide. Right? There are some players I know that they will take it wide. I know they are, for example, when I look at a player like Man Utd, I know Man Utd will take it wide. But the fact is, when I meet a player like Karim Adeyemi, I don't know what he's going to do. And I think that's a very, very good strength in his game, because if I say he's going to take it wide and he decides to take it inside, I have to think as a defender marking him. So also when you bring him to the left wing, left inside forward position, where Kowa plays, where Mount plays, he offers a different thing. And I think one of the things that I really see why he plays there is the fact of he gives our attack a different dynamics. And when you look at Tottenham's game, you find out that at least for 60 to 70 minutes of that Tottenham game, Mbeumo played on that side, and it was a different dynamics. Having a left footer in that left position gives a different dynamics to a team. I know most teams like to use left footer on the right hand side, but it's a different dynamics. And I think that's one of the strengths of Ruben Amorim's system, in the fact of that there are a lot of merely, and that's football for you, but merely changing, putting players in maybe the right position in terms of left to left or left to right, it changes the dynamics. What do I mean? For example, now you see in the wing back position, when you use Dogu and use Dalo, for example, left footer on the left, right footer on the right, or Mazarawi on the right, it gives a different dynamic to the team, right? When you use Ahmad on the right, which is a left footer on the right, when you use, for example, Dalo, that is a right footer on the left, right, it gives a different dynamics. So also in attack, when you use, for example, Mount or Kowa, because we saw some moments in that game where Kowa also operated, he operated in that side. When you use, for example, a Mount or a Kowa, which Mount also did, in the second half, in that Tottenham game, when you see them operate as right-footed players in the right inside forward position, it's a different dynamics. When Garnacho played there under Amorim as a right footer in the right-footed right inside forward position, it was a different dynamics from Garnacho in the left-hand side, right? So also, when you put a left footer in a left inside forward position, it's a different dynamics. The attack gives a different feel. There's a different feel. And also it helps, because if you look at that moment against, what they call it, sometimes it's not even about changing the wing back. Sometimes it's about changing to get a lot of cutbacks into the attack position. Sometimes it's about putting a left-footed attacker in that left inside forward position. For example, you saw in that Tottenham's game where Mbeumo had some moments where he did some nice cutbacks. I think 1 or 2 moments where he did cutback, but there was nobody to receive it. And in that same game, he was shouting, Ahmad, move in. So sometimes it's about the dynamics. We know that our wing back, Dogu, might not have the final delivery to do a cutback, but you can get that cutback into your game by not necessarily changing Dogu, but even putting a left-footed inside forward like an Mbeumo, like a Karim Adeyemi into your game that can do cutback. So it's beauty to watch. This is football. This is why we love the game. Right? This is why we love the tactical aspect of the game. And I feel this guy gives us a different dynamics in the left inside forward position. It's something that I'm really, it gives us a different blend. And for me, as a team, you need to have different ways to play. Yes, the same basic structure of the 3-4-3 system or the 3-4-2-1 system, but I can change the approach, I can change the dynamics of the game as a manager by reason of the kind of players I use. And that's the beauty of football. So people will say, oh, they are playing the 3-4-3 system today. But the fact is, the dynamics changes because of the players that are being used. So let's go to the wing back position. I feel, the defensive game of Karim Adeyemi is a game that I have questions. I have questions in the defensive part because and not necessarily big questions, but I'm just questions like, let's see how it works. Let's see how it plays out, right? Because looking at his heat map, for example, in Dortmund, looking at his heat map in the Bundesliga, and looking at what the instruction that is being given and the areas he covers in the defensive part of his game, I think it's just normal to track back the left back of the opponent when he plays on the right, and to track back the opponent, on the right back opponent, the right back of the opponent when he plays on the left. But when you look at the heat map, it always mostly ends up in the in the center line, right? So you don't really know what is the defensive work in the final, in the defensive third of our team when it's close to our box. You don't really know that. But in that same vein, when you see his work rates, you see how easy. He's not a player that tries to run. He's a player that is built to run. You understand that kind of thing? So he's not a player that have to run. It's not like Messi Mount. Those kind of players, they don't try to run. They are built to run. When they were making them, they made speed in them. They made that, running is their game, right? So when you see that running is his game, speed is his natural talent, he has that, and you see the willingness and ease to want to do that, you feel, okay, that's one point that will help him. And also when you see the doggedness in his game, the guy is, he's a player that is always intense. In everything he does is intense, right? He's not a player that calms the ball. There's a player that, and it's not a bad thing, but they calm the ball at moments and they say, okay, let's calm. This is a player that he always wants to be intense at every moment. From what I've seen, always want to be intense in terms of, I pass to you, I move forward, and you're like, wow, that's a nice thing to his game. And when you see those things in his game, the intensity, the doggedness, the natural ability to want to run and sprint back and help out the team, I feel that could help if he's a wing back. But attacking wise, as a wing back, it's massive. It's massive. And when you see some of even though I know that most of the attacking situations I've seen him in Dortmund, it's always starting from the center line also. But you see that from that center line, which normally a wing back would operate in, you see that the decisions he takes wide for attack as a wing back, if he comes to our team, and also inside as a wing back, is massive. This guy is a manager's dream in terms of, you cannot limit him to say he will just play wing back. You cannot. This guy can play 5 positions for this team. And I'll keep mentioning defensively, I see signs that yes, he might be able to adapt in defensive contribution when it comes to the Premier League and do a lot of job because of his speed and doggedness, as I said earlier. But attacking wise, I see the fact that this guy can go wide as a wing back. This guy can decide, I don't want to go wide this period. I want to enter inside and join the midfield, and with my speed, try to do 1 or 2 things. And for me, it's massive. It's massive. It's really, really massive. And also on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, they can also do that. And for me, it's really good. And I think what helps him also is the fact that he's predominantly a left footer, but his right foot is not bad as well. That right foot is also very good. It's also very good. Even though I know he's a predominantly left footer. Now let's talk about, I've mentioned 4 positions where I feel he can fit in and what it brings to that position. Let's talk about the striker position. I feel there are certain moments and certain approach to the game that you need a Karim Adeyemi. For example, if playing as an inside forward is clear, because if I have Karim as one of my inside forwards and I have the likes of Sesko doing the link up, the hold up and the link up, I will wound teams. I just give. This is a player that, this is our approach of going through some games or part of our game where we, as with other teams, where we play long to the striker and striker then links up. How we win teams? Because this is a guy that can run into space. And probably the defenders are decent, but the fact is that guy at that pace, we win teams. That guy will win teams. And for me, in that inside forward side, I'm very happy. But also, I also understand that, for example, if we are using him as a first 9 and then we are playing a low block against a team, that guy is good in transition moments. Very, very good in transition moments. Not just only transition moments, but also pressing, counter pressing. This guy is good. I will hot teams. Imagine if I'm playing a game as a manager where I have the likes of Umbremo. I have Ahmad as my wing back. I have Umbremo as my right inside forward. I have Mount as my left inside forward, and I have Karim as or even Kun as my left inside forward, and then I have Karim as my first one, and I have them Bruno Fernandes. So I will sit back. They burn you and lose the ball. They will let you burn you and lose the ball. So for me, sorry about that. So for me, it's amazing. It's amazing to see what he can do in that mode of attacking, that approach to a game, sits back and eats on the counter attack or the transition moments. Sometimes not even counter attack. It's just maybe we're in a mid block and we're all, we're just pressing from the mid block, and then they lose the ball. Our counter press will be massive. And that's one of the parts of our game we still need to improve upon. Our counter press needs to be massive. We need to be massive. And I feel this guy helps us in that. It really helps us in that. Also, another way we can use him in the striking position is the fact that, for example, when you want to do like a second ball situation, for example, against Liverpool, we saw that where Sesko didn't play. So we didn't need to play the extra striker, but we also want to use the second balls. This guy can do that because this is a fast player. This is a player I said is comfortable in the spaces, is comfortable out wide. He can do a lot of things. As a manager, it's amazing. This is a player, yes, I feel United should get him. I feel United to get him because the versatility there is massive, and it will really help a lot of our game. It's not just one position. You're not just getting it for a position, you're getting it for 5 positions. And as a manager, it's a dream to have a player that can play the 5 positions because I can use him and he's comfortable doing those things for me. So it's really, really good. So what else do I want to say about Karim? I think I've said a lot of things about Karim, but one of the things I want to say about Karim also is the aerial ability. It was shocking to me. I look at this guy. The guy is slightly taller than Ahmad, slightly taller than Mbeumo. It's not that tall. It's slightly taller than those guys. And when I look at the lift in this game, there was a particular clip I watched and a particular game of his I watched, and I saw the lift in his game. And like, oh, this guy has a lift. And for me, he has a lift. And when I look at that lift that he has, I look at, the guy is not that tall, but he has a lift. And when I look at it, I look at what he can offer offensively. I look at what he can offer defensively. In terms of wing back situation, in terms of crosses to the far end, he can deal with it. Crosses to the far end, he can deal with it because he has that lift. But also attacking wise, I think that's nice because we're beginning to, like for example, the Tottenham game. I'm happy that the 2 goals to score in the Tottenham game for headers, right? Mbeumo and then Matthias De Ligt. We want more headers. We want more crosses inside the box. We have a top striker that can do that. But also the fact is, some games when we don't start our striker, we should be able to cross that way. Ahmad gave Mbeumo a very nice delivery and Mbeumo buried it. And Karim can give us that. Even the corners, even though I know, yes, might not want to use him in the box in the corner because of his height, particularly, and because of, but the fact is, in certain moments, attacking situations, the guy can actually deliver for us. So I'm really impressed with this link. I'm really impressed with this thing. I see why United might be looking at him. For me, I feel if I was a manager, I would go for him. Not necessarily for a position. As I said earlier, I would go for him because of many things he offers, many things he can offer me tactically, and in terms of changing the dynamics, I will look at him as a very, very wonderful card that I can use to just change things. It's a player that I feel that really has that potential. Yes, I know there are some news about issues with issues with Dortmund and management and the board and everything with him. But the fact is, this is a tactical analysis of the guy. I'm not really going to go into all those details. But for me, I feel I'm impressed with Karim Adeyemi. And if Man United decides to go for him, I'm 100% all in. I feel that speed, that versatility, that dynamics he brings to the game is a nice one. So guys, let me have your opinion on Karim Adeyemi to Manchester United, the talks and the links. Guys, what do you think about it? Do you think you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? Let's have that discussion as usual in the comment section. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us. I truly appreciate you. We get your message, get your love, and as usual, we are here to analyze for you. So whatever player you want us to analyze next, please jot up in the comment section. We'll do that. Thank you for sticking with us. I remember my humble self, Shegun. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.